What's up guys, my name is Gabe and welcome back to the Trojan Blade. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is a very early look ahead to the 2025 season. Today we're going to be talking about the projected offense for that first game against Missouri State. Obviously a lot of time from now until then. We still have the spring window to get into, which is going to be the most important transfer portal window since Lincoln Riley arrived at USC, but still a very interesting conversation and a good sort of reflection to look at where we currently are as we sit on the offensive side of the ball. And guys, of course, before we get into it, if you are enjoying the videos, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you would like to help support the channel, there are channel memberships and a link to the Trojan Blade Patreon down below. Thank you guys as always. Now let's get into this. All right, so here it is up on your screen. This is version 1 of my projected starting offense for that first game. At quarterback, I have Hassan Longstreet. At running back, I have JUCO transfer Wayman Jordan. Don't take too much stock into the wideouts, aside from Makai Lemon and Jacoby Lane, but I think that third spot is going to rotate quite a bit. But I do have Jay Fair listed there right now. At tight end / H-back, I have Lake McCree. And then offensive line left to right, I have Elijah Page, DJ Wingfield, Big General, Alani Noah, and Tobias Raymond. Okay, so first up, let's talk about the running back position. This is a room that has a ton of talent. I would not be surprised if we see a departure in the spring portal window. But as of now, you have Wayman Jordan, again a JUCO transfer that has a ton of talent. Reminds me a ton of Jay Ajayi, the former Boise State running back. Explosive, great blocker, great hands, can really do it all for you. A 3-down player, not just a burner, not just a power back. He can do a little bit of everything. Very interested to see how his game translates from the JUCO level to the Big Ten. Obviously a massive jump, but at the running back position, it is much easier to project that as opposed to like a quarterback. So you have him, you have Brian Jackson, who absolutely showed out in the bowl game. He obviously is your much more traditional thumper. 2nd and 2, 3rd and 1, 1st and goal, put him in there and let him pick up those hard yards. And then we also picked up Eli Sanders from New Mexico. This guy is that scat back, he's that home run hitter. I don't know how much his speed is going to translate to the Big Ten, because like we saw with Jaden Mayava in the Mountain West, he looked a lot faster against those kind of athletes than he did in the Big Ten. So very curious there. We also have Amarion Peterson, liked what he showed us in the bowl game as well. And then you have the 2 freshmen, Harry Dalton and Riley Wormley. Now this room is so loaded, I would be stunned if either of those guys made a real impact this year, but very excited to see them in the spring game, see what they can bring to the table for us. Now looking at the tight end room, obviously Lake McCree is coming back. He is the vet in this group. He's been here a long time. He knows this offense inside and out. However, while I'm picking Lake McCree to start the first game, I don't think he's going to be the starter come season's end. Walker Lyons being away for an entire year in Norway, not practicing, not playing football, to come in as a summer enrollee as a true freshman and participate on the field at the tight end position, I don't think that can be overstated how impressive that is. He's a much better athlete overall than Lake is. If he takes another step in both his blocking and his route running, man, I think we could have a star on our hands with Walker Lyons. We obviously have future NFL Hall of Famer Joey Olsen as well. Walter Matthews is another stud in this room. And then obviously the true freshman who also can play defensive end for you, Nella Tupau. I know I'm probably not saying that name right, my apologies, but this is also a very impressive room, just like the running back group. Coach Hansen did a phenomenal job of loading these guys up. You have the veteran Lake McCree, you have the budding superstar Walker Lyons, you have the elite receiving talent in Joey Olsen, and you have the absolute Goliath of a human being in Walter Matthews. A ton of upside in this group, a ton of youth in this group as well, and I am just absolutely fascinated to see how this plays out in spring. Again, I do think Lake is going to be the guy when that game kicks off against Missouri State. But when we're in week 8, 9, 10, I do think Walker Lyons is going to be the guy getting the most snaps on this team. Now, taking a look at the Trojan receivers, this is an interesting group. I wouldn't say I'm concerned, but what I will say is that there is a severe lack of proven talent in this group. Obviously, you have Makai Lemon and Jacoby Lane. I would take that duo against almost anybody. 2 elite players that, if utilized correctly, could be All-Americans. No doubt about that. Again, now that he's gone, I feel much more comfortable saying the fact that Zachariah Branch led this team in targets, I mean, let's be honest, that's an absolute joke. Makai Lemon and Jacoby Lane are 10 times the receiver Zachariah Branch will ever be. And that's just the honest truth. Those 2 guys should have been the primary targets this last year, but I think they're going to be this year. We saw that in the bowl game. Stop the constant rotation. If they're tired and asking to come out, sure, get some fresh legs in there. But there is absolutely no reason on God's green earth they need to be coming out every 2 or 3 plays. So you have those 2, and then it's literally just question marks the rest of the way. Jay Fair hasn't proven he could step up and be a starting receiver in this kind of offense. Prince Strawn, the Boise State transfer, barely had any production during his 2 years there. Xavier Jordan was injured last year and didn't play at all. And then you have the freshmen, Tanuk Hines, Corey Sims, Romero Eisen. I mean, literally outside of Lemon and Lane, this group is just question marks. It's a lot of projection. It's a lot of, oh, we think he's going to be good, but we don't know. I would be flat out stunned if we do not add a proven receiver in the spring portal window. I don't think it's going to be another 6'4", 6'5" guy like Strawn or Jacoby. And I also don't think it's going to be a shifty, smaller receiver like Mekhi Lemon. I think I would look for us to target someone in that 6 foot to 6'1" range. Really good route runner, really good hands, and a lot of production over his career. That's the kind of guy I would expect to add. But yeah, overall, a very interesting group. And I do think one of the freshmen is going to emerge as a role player on this team. Personally, I'm going to put my money on Mo Eisen. His play style reminds me a ton of Jordan Addison. Elite route runner, great speed, phenomenal hands, and just a very football savvy guy. The way he can keep his balance, the way he can get his feet down to catch the ball in bounds, just a very special talent. I'm a huge fan of all the freshman wideouts, but I do think he is the most college ready right now. Now, talking about quarterback, this is a fascinating one. I cannot wait to see this battle play out in spring and fall. But outside of Mike linebacker, this is the room I have the biggest concerns about. We saw Jaden Mayava last year in a limited stint at the end of the season. He looked like the exact same player at UNLV. Made a few of those really eye-catching splash plays, but just the same sort of reckless play, a lot of turnovers, even more turnover-worthy plays. Doesn't see the field very well, doesn't seem like he knows how to read a defense very well. And obviously with that being his third year in college, that's a very big concern. Also, for all the people saying that we need a more mobile quarterback in this offense, and I do think there is some truth to that, he's not that mobile guy. He doesn't really know when to pull the ball and run it, and when he does, the speed isn't very impressive either. So I am not at all denying the talent of Jaden Mayava. If he could fix the accuracy, if he could fix the decision making, if he could be a more decisive and overall aggressive runner, this could be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. The only problem is we don't often see quarterbacks in year 3 to year 4 make that jump and learn all of those things. If you just watched Jaden play this last year and you had no idea who he was or how long he had been in college, you'd probably think he was a true freshman. A lot of those mistakes look like freshman mistakes. And with it being year 3, him going into year 4, for me, that is why I think Hassan Longstreet is going to start. We've talked about it multiple times on this channel, but the way the schedule plays out with that easy start, the first road game at the worst team in the Big Ten in Purdue, this schedule completely sets up for a freshman quarterback to come in and gradually learn, gradually play some tougher opponents, and then really start to get your feet wet in the meat of that schedule. If we become a run-centric team, and with Lincoln Riley, I know that's a massive, massive question mark, but what better quarterback on this team to run that kind of offense than Hassan Longstreet? He's an elite runner of the football himself, and when you run the ball a lot and play action starts to open up downfield, Longstreet is coming into college with one of the strongest arms in the country. So he's going to be able to burn teams down the field as well. Now, obviously with freshmen, what do you have to worry about? You have to worry about the turnovers and all the mistakes. But if you're going to get those kind of things anyway from a fourth-year player, why would you not put Longstreet in there and let him develop, let him learn on the job, let him learn to react to those live bullets coming at him? I think it'll do more good for him in the long run, and I think that it'll just increase the upside of this offense much more. That's what I feel about it. If you guys feel differently, please let me know down below in the comment section. This whole quarterback battle is going to dominate the headlines in spring ball and in fall camp, no doubt about that. But for me, Longstreet's the guy. Again, am I comfortable with a true freshman starting at quarterback for us or Jaden Mayava starting? No and no. I still wish we would go out in the portal and add a proven veteran quarterback, but I don't think that's going to happen. So between these two guys, Longstreet is the one I picked to start. Now, looking at the offensive line, now this is very, very interesting. I feel very good about the tackles. I feel good about the center. Both of the guards absolutely terrify me. So obviously at the tackles, you have Elijah Page at left, Tobias Raymond at right. Feel great about both of them. And then that swing tackle being Justin Tuanu. Feel fantastic about that. When I made Elijah Page's commitment video, I told you he was going to be an All-American. And while he was this year, he was a freshman All-American. That's not necessarily what I was talking about. I was just talking about being a normal All-American. And I think that this is the year that's going to happen. He got better and better as the year went on. He learned from that Michigan game, and I really think he's ready to explode. Tobias Raymond is a very, very interesting guy. So he was very undersized when he committed to USC. He was a very technically sound high school player, but now his body is caught up to his mind. He's really that complete tackle, just a massive built guy. Absolutely loved his performance in that bowl game. Now look, I get it. That was against the backup Texas A&M defensive line. If there's anything we've learned in the last 2 years, it's that you can't look into a bowl performance and assume that's going to translate to the full season next year. So I totally get that. But when you see the technique, when you see the decisiveness, he plays like a veteran out there. And again, his body has fully caught up to his mind now. So very excited to see what Tobias is going to give us at that right tackle spot. Now the center, big general, Jean-Ray Reed. Big fan of this guy's game. He seems like a very confident guy. And again, for the last 2 years, I have been begging Lincoln Riley to add a center that has played the position before. Don't put Justin Dietich there. That was a disaster. Jonah Monheim worked out better, but I still feel like he could have played better at some other positions. This is a guy that has played center, is going to play center. He's just built for the position. Playing center is truly the most unique position in all of football. You get the play call, you go up to the line, you're making your checks, you're making your call outs, you're making your reads, and then you have to give the quarterback a good ball. And then you have to focus on blocking the absolute mammoths in the interior of these Big Ten defensive lines. Not an easy job by any means. So getting a guy who's been there, done that, even if he's not the best player in the world, having that experience, that confidence, the different things throughout his career that he can call back on. I think it's absolutely massive having him there. But then that leads us to the 2 guard spots, which I do not feel good about at all. DJ Wingfield was a below average player at Purdue last year. And Alani Noah, while he took some big steps, still, even in the bowl game, he had some really big gaffes that with all the experience he's had up to this point are just very concerning to see. So I don't feel good at all about either of those spots. But that is what I feel like it's going to be. But the spring game is going to be a massive, massive tell for us. Is this the year a guy like Micah Banuelos finally gets into the starting lineup? You guys know how high I am on a guy like Hayden Treater. Massive guy, really, really strong guy as well. Coming off an injury, very curious to see how he progresses throughout spring ball. But yeah, as of now, that is what I am projecting the offense to be when we take the field against Missouri State. Again, this is just the first version of this. This is going to change, especially after the spring portal window. And of course, I will have a video out on the defense on Thursday. But guys, this is an absolutely fascinating conversation. Any thoughts you have on the offensive line, the wideouts, the quarterback, anything, please let me know down below. The 2 things I want to hear from you most on, what are your thoughts on the quarterback battle? And who do you think the 3rd wideout is going to be on this team? We all know about Lemon and Lane. But who's going to be the guy that comes up and snags that 3rd wide receiver job? Please let me know down below. If you did happen to enjoy this video, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for being here. You're all awesome. And as always, take care and fight on.